Hello, everybody, and welcome back once more to Anime Yay or Nay. I am the OutbackAl.
I'm Yin&Jung.
I'm Chibi Noob.
I'm Envy Jitters.
I'm CheerandCosplay.
And I'm Kozi.
And we're back once more with other things, different stuff. We didn't really have like a whole lot of stuff. We were recommending things here and there. And one of the things that kind of went back and forth between me and Envy, at least, was this show that we watched this week, Romantic Killer. Envy, you watched this, I watched this. Did anyone else hear about this or have seen it before this?
Nope.
No? Okay.
I mean, I remember Envy bringing it up if we wanted to watch it.
Hey, you know what? That's called a recommendation. That's good enough to get it into this section of whatever we're doing. So, yeah, me and Envy both saw this. How about from everybody else who hasn't seen it? Everyone hasn't seen it. What'd you guys get initial thoughts? Sorry, my words are a little bad right now. What are you guys' initial thoughts on this?
Meh.
It's going to be a short episode.
I think for me...
I loved it.
The duality. The duality.
I'm gonna also be honest, I actually kind of like this one, which is a surprise because I'm usually very picky. But yeah, no, I actually thought this one was quite funny. Honestly, I think the thing that kind of won me over with the show, I'm like, oh my god, she's just like me, but replace the video games with books.
I was just, I was gonna say the exact same thing. I'm thinking as I was watching this, boy, oh boy, I can only imagine if this was in Chip's situation, she would literally be in hell, especially without her precious cat.
I know, I'd be so sad. I love Houdini so much. I'm like, if some stupid devil magical bear came and took my cat away, I'd scream. I would cry. I wouldn't know what to do with myself.
Well, neither does this girl. Yin, what'd you think?
Nope.
I had kind of mixed feelings. Like, I like the premise, and I like the little funny things about the tropes in like shoujo games and shoujo mangas and visual novels and all that. But I guess I don't know, expected more, like more humor or more something. It just felt like somewhat lacking to me. I don't know. Like, I think it was fun, but it just felt like it was missing something more, I don't know, memorable about it.
Well, without spoiling too much, I will say the remaining 9 episodes definitely get a lot more plot heavy. It's not like, a deep plot, but they do get more focused on the characters, and there is actually a lot of good drama and good banter between the characters later on in the show that actually made me not so much tear up, but like feel, sad and want them to succeed. So that
that's good to know.
Kind of gives me a little bit of a push, I guess.
Yeah, I think
It gets kind of dark towards the end.
Yeah.
Oh, you guys, real quick.
I wasn't trying to say anything because, in case anybody else, but yeah.
Yeah, real
so
quick.
What I'm talking about, CC. And,
real quick, just to see where everybody's at. I watched the whole thing, and we watched the whole thing. Yin, you watched 3 episodes.
Only 3 episodes.
Chibs, where are you at?
I only watched 3 episodes, but I am planning on picking it back up.
Okay.
So.
And Kozi, CC, what'd you guys do?
We watched it all. We had nothing better to do.
Okay, wow.
I was enjoying it.
Well, there you go.
You were the one who wanted to turn it off and go to bed. What the fuck are you talking about?
Bedtime. I had to work in the morning.
Didn't mean they didn't want to pick it up again. Okay. Well,
okay, so what was the 3rd episode so I remember what to not talk about?
3rd episode was
Junta.
Yeah, well he shows up at the end. He doesn't it's not a thing yet. It was they spent the night together and then he moves in.
Yeah, I feel like one of my main issues with these first 3 episodes is that I felt like that was dragged out way too long. Like, I wanted to get to some of the other boys, because for a while I was like, is he the only love interest? And in which case, this isn't really a visual novel game. So I think it just, I feel like they should have sped up a little bit with that guy's little arc.
Okay,
So
at that point, I think we are starting to get into plot a little bit. Do we want to explain the first 3 episodes plot a little bit to get people, the taste of it?
Yeah. Just to clarify, the manga itself is finished and it's only 4 volumes.
Yeah, I'm
I feel
gonna.
like
Yeah,
this
the
is
show
probably
covers
about
the entire
Yeah.
manga.
Yeah, so I feel like they're pacing it out about as much as they should at this point.
Okay. So, yeah, this, if you couldn't tell from the vague concepts that we were kind of working with here, there's a girl who loves three things in this world. Oh, hang on. Her name is Anzu.
Anzu.
And she loves her cat, because of course you do. She loves chocolate, because of course she does. And she loves video games, because who wouldn't? But she's never been on a date in her life. She's never had any sort of love life. And Japan has a seriously declining birth rate, if you haven't been aware of that, for a while. And there's a
Gee, I
magical,
wonder why.
magical little animal wizard bear thing, tiny Cupid named Riri, who pops out of a video game and says, hey, your life is now going to become a visual novel, a romance visual novel so that you can make babies.
Okay,
And I'm
just
gonna take
right
away-
off the gate, can we address why the fuck is it on a high schooler to fix the declining birth rate?
I do question... I mean, part of it's tropes.
Because it's propaganda.
Yeah, part of
Yeah.
it's also
It's just for the
tropes.
show.
Maybe they probably figured the adults are a lost cause. We got to get the kids before they go off to
Well,
the
I
real
think
world.
even at that point, I feel like a decent amount of like visual novels or at least otome games take place in high school.
Yeah.
All very
No,
true.
I do want to bring that up because they do like try to imply that they're trying to like force steamier things to happen between
Yeah.
Anzu and the boys.
I know.
So like weird.
yes.
Yeah. Like,
Not even arguing with it. I'm just tropes.
I want to ask this, though, because I was kind of wondering this, because you were bringing up this is high schoolers, and maybe we should be aiming this a little bit more towards adults. What do you think this show would have been funnier if it was an adult in this situation?
I think it's like
Yeah,
kind
absolutely.
of like what Chibi was saying. It's the tropes though are usually in high school.
Yeah, definitely. But I'm almost wondering, like, because I feel like there are some shows now that are kind of like leaning a little bit more towards
Yeah, a little
more
bit, yeah.
adult slice of life
Because
audiences.
They're like, she's a first year in high school, and
Is she?
they're like, oh, you've never had a romantic relationship.
I
She's
guess
a
she
first
is.
year in high school.
Huh.
She's 16.
Yeah.
That I would say
Yeah,
that's
no
still
fucking
pretty normal.
shit. Yeah.
That's pretty normal for a lot of these genre stuff. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, but a 16-year-old not having had like a very serious romantic relationship is normal.
Not with how media portrays it,
Yeah.
I think.
I think they always portray it as like lame if you haven't had a boyfriend by then for whatever reason.
Yeah, but at the same time,
It's
like,
just
I think...
tropes.
Yeah, it's primarily the trope thing that's going on here, but I do like the whole sort of... I got the vibe of anyone who knows Superman comics, Mr. Mixie Spitlick, the fifth dimensional
I think
imp.
I can
Kinda
never
controlling
pronounce that
every-
name.
Mr. Mixie
I think I
Spitlick?
would have vibed with this a whole
Oh,
lot
no.
better if they had been adults.
Yeah.
So I kind of saw it as Ringu was like trying to prep her for the future. Like, you've been so distracted by video games. I'm going to show you how to like want companionship and a partner. But it did get kind of questionable at times, and it would just be so much less icky if they just had her in college.
Oh my god! You didn't even take your chance to walk in on him in the bathroom!
Yeah, a little... That was a little bit much. I mean, I think a part of it is one of those, like, oh, this is like an outer dimensional being who doesn't entirely understand human beings, but has definitely read about them. It's kind of like... I feel like there's like a trope in media where you have like an alien who's mostly like only watched TV and thinks that's how human relationships work. And I think that might be a bit of the situation here.
I mean, I've seen so much anime over the last couple of years that all these tropes are kind of like in the back of my head. Just I'm just used to it at this point. Not
Yeah,
that
we're
it's
all-
excusable, but I've seen it done a lot worse. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, the college
Yeah,
angle
no,
might have been better.
It's just like one of those things that as we're getting older, I don't really vibe with it. So like,
Yeah,
right
that's fair.
from the start, it's hard for me to enjoy this.
I can understand
Literally
that.
just make her 20 years old and in college. She'll still have like the classroom settings and stuff, but she'll still be like not quite independent, still living with her parents. It just won't be as creepy when they're like making boys live with her.
Well, I would say even at that, like, and this is just from what I know, because, like, Japanese roommate in college, like, getting an apartment right when you enter college is pretty normal, so having your own place is, like, fairly typical. So I would say, like, even if they had just, like, made her, like, first year in college and, like, just have it at that, I feel like that would have even been a bit more appropriate, but...
I'm going to say this, though. I think that if we had done that, though, we would have missed out on one of the few, like, kind of really good jokes they had in the first episode, with the parents suddenly being very okay with just disappearing from the entire plot.
True.
Because, like, nothing against the comedy. I actually think the show gets stronger with its jokes as it keeps going. But that first episode, a lot of lines were very repetitive. A lot of things were very, like, samey, sort of, like, overreact. Well, maybe not overreaction, but big reaction to whatever's going on, blah, blah, blah. But then, like, the parents are just like, oh, I got transferred to America. Wait, don't you work for the Japanese post office? What are you going to do in America? Then, like,
Yeah, that was pretty
then they're just like, hey, we packed our bags in an hour and we're gone. We're also taking the cat. I'm like, you know what? Give him this. That was, like, the little interdimensional imp works pretty quick and efficiently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got pretty quickly to the first love interest, who is Tsukasa.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I don't... Okay, look, some people haven't
It's
seen
hard
the full
to
show.
it's hard to describe him because the first 3 episodes don't give him a lot.
exactly.
They give him a lot more in the back half, and he's honestly my second favorite character in the show besides Anzu. So, like, I feel like he's best boy, and I feel like they work the best together. But again, I can't really explain it without going into spoilers. So
Yeah, we're going to be touching a little bit of because I know some people want to continue this, and I don't want to spoil
He comes off
things.
as, like, cold and aloof, but, like,
there's a reason.
the
Yeah.
secret,
Yeah.
like, I have a heart of gold underneath is kind of what you get out of these episodes.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and, like, not to spoil anything, but, like, the reasons behind him being the way he is, damn. Wow.
Super
Valid.
valid.
There's a,
Super valid.
There's a again, without spoiling anything, there's a moment in, I believe, episode 10 between Anzu and Kazuki in the kitchen, and that was honestly my favorite moment in the entire show. Like, that was like one of my favorite anime moments of 2022. I loved that moment. Like, it was such a good, heartwarming moment between the two of them, and I'm thinking, you know what? We stand being friends. You don't need to be, lovers, but we stand being close friends who got each other's back.
That is like a good thing and a good like point that this show actually makes is that, like, just even beyond the idea of like, oh, we need to make these romantic relationships, we need to do this, we need to do that. It's also just creating good, healthy relationships between people, romantic or otherwise. I actually think that's one of the strong points of the show and kind of what sets it apart from, I honestly think, a lot of other romance anime is that the drama feels like could outside of the Mr. Mixie Spitlick element, the drama feels like, yeah, this is kind of real. This could happen. And the relationships feel authentic and genuine and not like in this like forced stuff. They don't have like a lot of that like forced, contrived plots of like, oh, they only heard half the conversation. There was a misunderstanding and we're going to repeat that plot 7 more times kind of thing that you usually see.
I mean, Junta.
Yeah, well... sometimes it's played for comedy, but honestly, I think they did a really good job, and it's kind of refreshing to have like heightened but still realistic motivations for people, realistic reactions to certain situations, and even realistic situations that these people are thrown in, despite the fact that it's actually probably more legitimate why they would be more fantastical.
Yeah.
Like, most other shows don't have the excuse of the interdimensional imp fucking with your life.
Yeah. And I gotta say, this was one of my favorite anime of last year, because it did come out October of last year, and it didn't get a lot of fanfare, but I will say my number one reason for liking this show is the main character herself. I loved her. Like, I didn't have a single problem with her. I thought she was the perfect balance of over the top but also grounded at the same time, and just a good character to be around, and she was. This is going to be fighting words because I know there was another popular girl last year, but multiple, but she was my girl of the year last year. If you do like a anime girl per year, like she was my favorite female character last year. I really liked her a lot.
I think we know the other one that you're talking about.
Well, you might not. There's a few.
Mine was Desumi from Love After World Domination, but that's just me.
No, I was thinking of Marin from My Dress Up.
No, I know that's exactly who you're thinking of. That's everybody's.
Okay.
But I'm a Power Rangers fan, so.
Yeah. Did you guys watch this dubbed or subbed?
Dubbed.
Well, shit. Well, one of my favorite Japanese voice actresses played Anzu, so that's why I watched it subbed.
I watched it dubbed because Kazuki was played by Shadow the Hedgehog.
I would be interested in hearing it subbed because I feel like the dub kind of sucked ass.
Okay, yeah. Some of the line reads were not great.
Yeah. I might rewatch the first few episodes subbed.
I'll say this. I think
the voices were a little grating.
It only gets worse.
Oh, no.
I think this
There's
might
one
have...
guy who only talks
oh, God,
like
him.
this.
Oh, no.
Worst boy. But to be fair, I'm not a fan of that trope, so I think this might be one of those situations of, like, I think part of it is because, like, Netflix and all that, I feel like this may have been a situation of they wanted to translate this quickly, so they just went for, like, we're not going to localize anything, we're not going to, like mess with anything, because, like, it's one of those situations where the subtitles do match up with the dub.
Yeah, they put no work into it. Like,
yeah.
Didn't translate any of the writing, even if that would have been, like, pertinent for us to know.
Yeah, very bare bones kind of thing, so that's probably part of the problem.
Maybe
it wasn't
that's
psyche.
why I didn't find it funny.
That's a possibility.
I would highly recommend it because the main girl, Anzu, is played by like one of the most popular Japanese voice actresses, Rie Takahashi. So like she nails the role.
That might be the better way because I found her voice and thus her personality a little bit grating with the dub, so I feel like maybe with the other voice it'll be less so.
Would you like it if she was Hutao from Genshin?
Maybe.
Yeah, I'm just looking people. I have Wikipedia up, so.
Okay. I could see that.
Well, we kind of lost the plot here.
Here's the thing. There's not a ton of plot to go over for the first 3 episodes, and I still don't want to spoil anything for the people who haven't seen it yet, because, you know, despite being a year old, it is still a new anime, and very likely it's buried under Netflix right now, because, I mean, if it's not the first month on Netflix, you're not going to see it anywhere. So...
Yep. Well, I mean, bare bones, the potato basically forces Tsukasa into living with Anzu.
Yeah, first with a hurricane.
Flooding out his apartment.
Yeah.
You gotta admit, when, like, it was kind of fun watching that sequence of events happen. First, the cockroach shows up and replaced by cake, which was kind of nice.
I like the cake thing.
That's a nice bit.
I liked the cake.
That it's funny. There like a bunch of times throughout the thing, I think.
Yeah.
Did you ever notice that with I don't know if this is just like a common joke for anime. I'm going on a tangent, but like it's kind of related. You ever notice with anime they always blur out cockroaches? Like, is that just like a common joke they use, or is that kind of?
It's a thing that they kind of use both with like cockroaches and also like with vomit.
Yeah, vomit. I see that
stuff like that. It's like if it's seen as unseemly, they're going to censor it.
Are cockroaches that common in houses? Like, I feel like this is a very normal running gag.
Sort of unrelated, but related to at least what you're talking about. I think the best, like, censorship for TV thing that I ever saw, you remember this. You and me, like, had a series where we were, like, watching, like, Thai dramas, Thai comedies or something. Okay. So there was one called The Shipper, which the basic plot is this girl who writes fan fiction dies and comes back to life, but she comes back in the wrong body of, like, the boy she has a crush on. And, well, long story short, someone threatens somebody else with a knife. And apparently, because of the rating, they weren't actually allowed to show the knife on TV in a way that it was like... It's kind of a cliffhanger. The knife is shown at the end of the one episode, but in the next episode, they can't show it being, like, swung at someone. So they censor it with like a mosaic thing, and it looks like the guy's just holding a dildo.
Yeah.
Oh no.
He's attacking someone with a big foot-long black dildo.
So good.
Like, I don't know. That one was the best to me, but there's always
I feel like that is way more threatening than a knife. Like,
A
someone
little
comes
bit.
at you with a knife, you're like, okay, I know what this is.
Yeah, like...
Someone comes at you swinging a foot-long dildo, you're like, what the fuck? What the fuck?
Exactly. It's like Thailand, everyone's being attacked with dildos, and in China, everyone bleeds cum. So,
well, you know why the capital of Thailand is Bangkok.
No.
Anyway, back on course a little bit. Some contrived plot stuff. Cockroach, and then she runs out of the house, and that's
and she should have
2
just
weeks.
teleported to Brazil.
Yeah, 2 weeks in a row, people run out of their house because of
Right.
cockroaches.
That is a coincidence.
And they have to go find a Nendo to
Yeah.
smash it. And then it's everything that could go wrong. It's raining. She's got 2 of the wrong shoes on. The hot guy shows up. And then, But I love the, I'm gonna go now. And then a branch just goes right through the window.
Yeah.
It's like the hell you are.
By the end of the series, her poor parents' house.
I mean, I think at the same time, it's the magic potato thing is I'll just fix it. It's fine.
Yeah, he can do whatever he wants.
We're working off anime logic here. I mean, weirdly enough, this almost it's like a pocket dimension where it's almost like Psyche's universe as well, where everything just works out.
He's literally controlling the weather to make it so it's only raining and only destroying his house, so he has to stay there.
Okay, here's a thought: crossover potential. What if, for Subject 2, Riri tries this on Psyche?
Psyche would win.
Oh boy.
Psyche would win.
I just
Hands
want to
down.
see what happens. That's all.
Riri would get in a basically a convoluted state, kind of like Kyubey at the end of Rebellion, where he's just where they're just convulsing on the floor. Like, I give up. I don't know what to do. I haven't met someone like this before.
I would find that very
Riri
funny.
was facing off against Psyche. That is more in line with what I would think an anime titled Love is War is about.
That would be so funny.
Oh, I was telling, I won't dox him, but friend of the pod, I was telling him, I don't know what I was expecting from a show called Romantic Killer, but I was not expecting it to be this relatable. I think Romance Killer would be better, but anyway. And he was like, oh yeah, I don't know what that is. And he thought for a minute, and he was like, there was another one with a similarly weird title. Is it in the same series as, what was it called? Dramatic Killer? Dramatic Murder?
Totally different.
Oh, honey, no.
You know what? A romantic killer leads to a dramatical murder.
No.
I mean...
Stop. I know which friend you're talking about, and I just want to comfort them right now and say, you poor fool.
Should we watch that for next week?
Oh my
No.
God.
No, we're not.
No.
No, we already have plans.
Only if we can
already have
find the
plans.
original disaster episodes.
Oh, yeah.
God.
The best.
We'll talk about that for a much later date. But,
Pain.
yeah. Okay, so I would normally go with some sort of conversation piece of who was your favorite character, who was your favorite person, but for the short amount that some of us have seen this, there's not a whole lot to go off of other than just Anzu, Riri, and Tsukasa or Kazuki, whichever one you want to call him.
It's funny, I remember before we watched this, you kind of compared it to that one live action Japanese show we watched that was about the BL. Man Who Defies
the World of BL. It's about a guy
who...
it's
very similar, but BL tropes.
Yeah, he's a dude, and he understands that he is in some sort of BL manga, and he's aware of all the tropes, and he's trying to avoid getting into a relationship because he just doesn't want the hassle.
But he is in college, so there's that.
It works a little bit better.
I kind of wish it was more like that.
Yeah.
I wish they would have let Anzu actually be just fully A-spec.
That's the thing. I found that one, the BL one, to just be more funny and enjoyable for some reason. I don't know what it was that it had that this one didn't. It might be more of the straight man protagonist.
Oh yeah, he's got much more of like that deadpan delivery thing
he's
going on.
a little more like Psyche. I don't know.
Yes. It's like if Psyche was in this show.
It is very much like that.
That's the thing, is like he's fully uninterested.
Yeah.
But they're portraying Anzu, even though she's supposed to have no interest, she's like, oh, it's hot and it's kind of cute.
Yeah.
I wish they wouldn't have done that specifically.
Yeah, it's like
Maybe
she's only fighting it out of spite a little bit.
Yeah.
But to be fair, spite can be pretty funny.
I mean, at the same time as an Ace Arrow,
Hmm.
like, I have been in those moments.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, oh, and very uncomfortable with the thought of liking you, but I do think I like you.
Okay.
Yeah, I wish they wouldn't have leaned into it so hard. I wish they would have gone the opposite direction and had her fully lean into being like, I'm gonna kill all of these scenarios.
Yeah.
I think it's just a little funnier that way, you know?
Yeah. Well, we're gonna have to watch The Man Who Defies the World of BL at some point. It's basically a live action anime because I think we were even saying that it could have been a good, really good
I feel like
anime.
it would have been a good anime, to be honest.
Yeah.
Of course, the camera work and stuff's a little wonky, but it's like, it's pretty like low budget. I feel like an anime would have been really good, but still fun.
But yeah. So, trying to think what else to talk about here without spoily stuff, because we really don't get to the meat of it yet.
I will say this. I thought the opening was okay, but I gotta admit, I was not expecting a full-on Eurobeat ED, and I am for it. I love the ED.
God, yeah. This is actually the first time that I watched the ending, because I just let it skip it every single time. Mostly, and I was fine with that mostly because, like, every time it starts with, like, Riri being like, aha, I have tricked you, and now I'm going to talk about stuff and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, no, I don't need to hear you, Riri. But I missed out on the nightmare visual novel people dancing.
No, that was so scary.
I loved the nightmare visual novel people.
What was the...
I thought that was so funny.
What was the
anime?
I didn't watch it.
Like that.
I didn't watch it, but what was the anime with the super chins?
They were the super chin guys.
Gaku and Handsome.
Oh, the Dorito
Gaku and
chins?
Handsome. Yeah.
I don't ever want to see it, but apparently, yeah. So
why
Dorito
don't you want to
chins.
see it?
Because horror.
No. Elle, you have seen it. We played quite a few episodes at one of our get-togethers.
I don't remember any of that.
I think you repressed
Well,
it.
that's convenient for you, but we did definitely play it.
Hey,
I
whatever,
also don't
man.
remember this.
I mean, they're only like 3 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
Can you guys imagine playing a video game in the dimension above yours? Because she was
Sorry?
2-dimensional and her games were 3-dimensional.
Oh.
So
I guess I never thought
does that
about
mean
that.
if we play? So then, does that mean if we played a video game, what we'd be like playing spirits or something like that?
No.
I think it is technically 3-dimensional, though.
Well, hold on. The equivalent for us would be if we were playing a game in the 4th dimension.
What's that?
No, it would just look like the game is in the 4th dimension. It wasn't actually 3-dimensional. It was still just on a flat screen. It wasn't popping out. It's the illusion of being 3-dimensional. But that's
So it's
not what
2.5D.
3D actually is.
It was like 3D animation, though.
So
right?
2.5D, like the early Wolfenstein games. Yeah.
If you're looking at something on a flat screen, it is not 3D.
But they still call it 3D.
Now I'm trying to think of what it would be like to play a 4th dimensional game. Because the 4th dimension
perceive
involves...
the 4th dimension, wouldn't we?
Well, the 4th
It's a
dimension...
perceived 3rd dimension?
We perceive the 3rd dimension, but then the 4th dimension involves, like,
Yeah.
multiversal, multiple points of
Doesn't
perspective.
the 4th dimension involve time?
No, that's the 5th dimension.
Okay.
Where the 4th dimension is, like...
Space.
You exist simultaneously, and I think everything everywhere all at once.
Haven't seen it yet.
Oh no! So we're gonna have
Oh
hot
my
dogs.
god,
and
you have to
fingers?
see it.
Oh yeah, dude.
It's good.
My
I
God.
know, I really want
It's
to
basically anime.
Yeah, so I don't know how we would ever have a game that could be perceived fourth dimension like that.
Ooh, no, we have had that. You ever had local LAN parties where you just look at your opponent's screen? There you go.
Yeah.
Or like the four-way split screen thing. I don't know.
Is this like the people who do, like, I'm gonna play Mario Party but be all 4 characters myself?
I mean, I guess it's not quite that.
You want me to say the thing?
I don't know. This is something to think about.
I'm gonna say the thing. This feels like Patreon content.
It certainly
Yeah.
is. All right. What else we got to say about this show?
I mean, there's really not much we can say without getting into specifics.
Please, no.
Yeah.
In the vaguest terms, I will say that I very much enjoyed the whole ride of this. I do think the comedy gets better as it keeps going. The characters get better as they keep going. The plot and drama gets better as it keeps going. And I think it actually ended on a really good note.
Okay.
It was very satisfying by the end. Take that how you will. I give this a yay.
It's a meh for me.
I mean, it's a yay for me.
I'll give it a light yay for now. It might go up or down depending on how later episodes make me feel.
It is a hard yay for me. We stand an Ace Queen.
I'm still a meh.
Even if it is acefulness out of spite, it's still kind of funny.
Ace out of spite is the funniest ace.
To be fair, I did laugh a lot at this, but then Cece also looked over at me, laughing at something else, and was like, "Are you okay?" So.
I feel like I should have watched this with Cece. It sounds like a great time.
Listen, I
Okay.
loved it. I felt seen for once in an anime.
Well, hey, I am so happy for you. That is a very important thing to feel. So we watched this on Netflix. It was one of those, like, Netflix originals, which, you know, it's hard to say how original. I'm actually going to check to see if Netflix was
Stop
involved
beating
at all.
around the bush. Just
That just means they produced it.
Yeah.
Okay, so they were involved in it. There's another thing, anime-related, Netflix-related, that came out
Beating around the
fairly
bush.
recently. Okay, so yeah, I'll stop beating around the bush. That's fine. Yeah, we talked about it last week anyway, because, somebody, not going to name any names, Kozi, but someone did bring up, are we going to watch that? So we might as well watch that. If you don't know what we're
Okay.
talking about, go back and watch our Psyche episode, because it was really fun.
but I'm almost positive we decided to push this back one more week.
No, we didn't, because next week is Halloween. Or the week after next week is Halloween. So, we got spooky stuff to do during Halloween. Now, next week. We talked about it last week, and we're going to do it this week. We're watching
Another
One
Ace.
Piece. You know what? Oh my god, that is such a good transition point. I didn't even think about that. Cece's on the
Yeah,
ball
he's-
today.
Canonically asexual, isn't he?
I believe
I'm
so.
almost positive we pushed this back.
We did
'Cause
push it
doesn't it
back,
come
except we
out?
didn't.
I thought we pushed it back to make room for a romantic killer.
No,
Look,
no,
apparently,
This was like-
I don't think we did.
everybody stop. Apparently, there has been some people who haven't, like, we've got some confusion on schedule, but I'm going to tell you what the schedule is right now. We're watching Netflix One Piece for next week. We're going to watch the first 2 episodes because they're longer. We're going to watch a little bit less, but if you want to keep watching more, keep watching more. Go for it. You know, whatever is going to be your thing. If you're torturing yourself, you're torturing yourself. We're going to figure out the schedule off the pod because that's when we're going to figure out the schedule. But tell you what, next week is Netflix. One Piece. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Hey, thanks for watching, and if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe and ring the bell icon for notifications. If you enjoy this video, give us a like, and if you haven't already, check out some of our previous episodes, our daily gaming videos, or our parody series Madoka Magically Abridged. See you next time!